Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For years, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have stood before the public as one of television's most beloved couples, vibrant, charming, and full of energy. Their love story, which began on the set of All My Children in the 1990s, became the kind of fairy tale Hollywood rarely sustains. Together, they've built careers, raised 3 children, and managed to maintain that elusive spark that so many lose along the way. But behind their radiant smiles and effortless on-screen chemistry, a storm was quietly gathering, one that would shake Kelly's world to its core. It all started subtly. Mark, who had always been known for his discipline, his early morning workouts, his strict diet, his seemingly endless energy, began to slow down. It wasn't dramatic at first. Missing a gym session here, a nap that stretched longer than expected there. Kelly noticed. She always did. At first, she teased him lightly about finally acting his age. But as weeks passed, her teasing gave way to concern. The man who once bounded out of bed before sunrise began waking up tired, sometimes dizzy. There were moments when Kelly would catch him staring off, his thoughts drifting somewhere far from their shared breakfast table. She tried not to worry, but a quiet fear began nesting inside her heart. Then came the day that changed everything. Mark had been scheduled to film a short segment for Live with Kelly&Mark, but he called in sick, something almost unheard of for him. Kelly rushed home after the show, expecting maybe a cold or exhaustion. But when she walked into their bedroom, the sight of him, pale, sweating, struggling to catch his breath, sent her heart racing. "Mark," she whispered, dropping to her knees beside the bed. "What's wrong?" He tried to smile, tried to make light of it. "Just tired," he said, his voice hoarse. "Maybe the flu." But Kelly wasn't convinced. She grabbed her phone and called their doctor. Within an hour, Mark was at the hospital undergoing tests. Kelly sat in the waiting room, her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles turned white. The world around her seemed to blur. The soft chatter of nurses, the rhythmic hum of hospital machines, the faint smell of antiseptic. All of it faded into a dull, numbing background. When the doctor finally emerged, the expression on his face told her everything before he even spoke. "Mrs. Consuelos," he began gently, "we found something that needs attention." Kelly's world froze. The words that followed were a blur: complications, cardiac irregularities, further testing required. She felt her throat tighten, her chest constricting as if the air itself had turned solid. In that moment, the unstoppable Kelly Ripa, the woman known for her wit, her strength, her laughter, broke down. She wept in silence, her tears soaking into the sleeve of her sweater. It wasn't just fear for Mark's health. It was the thought of what might come next. Of mornings without his voice. Of laughter replaced by echoes. Of her world half empty. Mark spent several nights under observation. Kelly never left his side. She slept in the chair beside his hospital bed, her fingers entwined with his, her eyes rarely closing. Even when the doctors reassured her that they were optimistic, she couldn't shake the image of him looking so fragile, so unlike the man who had once carried her across their first apartment threshold. She posted nothing on social media during those days. Fans noticed her absence and began to worry. Speculation swirled. Was it family trouble? A break from the spotlight? No one knew the truth, that the woman who had always seemed unshakable was quietly living through one of the darkest chapters of her life. When Mark finally came home, his steps were slower. The doctors had diagnosed a heart condition. Manageable, they said, but serious enough to require lifestyle changes and close monitoring. He would need medication, rest, and above all, less stress. Kelly nodded through the consultation, her mind already racing ahead. She promised herself she would protect him, whatever it took. In the days that followed, she became his anchor. She cooked meals with care, kept their home quiet, and insisted he skip unnecessary commitments. But her heart still carried the heaviness of what might have been, and what could still be. There were nights when she'd wake up just to make sure he was still breathing, her fingers brushing gently against his chest to feel the steady rise and fall. And every morning when he smiled at her, that same boyish grin that first stole her heart, she would fight back tears, grateful for another day. On their return to Live, Kelly addressed the audience with a noticeable tremor in her voice. She didn't go into detail, but she spoke of gratitude, of family, of the fragile balance between work and well-being. Mark, sitting beside her, reached over and took her hand. "Sometimes," he said softly, "life reminds you what really matters." The studio went silent. In that moment, the glamour of television melted away, leaving two people, vulnerable, human, and deeply in love. Behind the scenes, Kelly's friends described her as strong but shaken. Those close to her said the experience had changed her perspective entirely. She began cutting back on appearances, spending more time with their kids, cherishing the quiet evenings that once seemed ordinary. Mark's health scare was a wake-up call, one insider shared. Kelly realized that no amount of fame or success can replace the people you love. Months passed, and with medication and careful monitoring, Mark's condition stabilized. He returned to his workouts, gentler now, and found joy in simple things. Walks with Kelly, dinners at home, phone calls with their children. But Kelly never forgot that first night, the panic, the helplessness, the cold fear that the man she loved could be taken away in a heartbeat. In an interview months later, when asked about how the experience had affected her, Kelly paused for a long moment before answering. "I think we all live with this illusion that tomorrow is guaranteed," she said softly. "But it's not. That night, when I thought I might lose him, everything else disappeared. The only thing that mattered was him, his heartbeat, his breath, his hand in mine. You don't come out of something like that unchanged." Her eyes glistened, but she smiled. The kind of smile that carries both pain and peace. Today, Kelly&Mark continue to share their mornings with millions of viewers, their chemistry as palpable as ever. But those who watch closely can sense something deeper between them. A quiet tenderness, a gratitude born from fear overcome. There are moments on air when Kelly will glance at Mark and smile just a little longer than before, her expression soft and knowing. And when Mark laughs, it's fuller, richer, as though each moment is a gift he refuses to take for granted. Their story, once defined by glamour and success, now carries a deeper truth, one that reminds fans everywhere that even the strongest love stories face storms, and that sometimes those storms make the bond unbreakable. Because for Kelly Ripa, the crushing news from doctors was not the end of their story. It was the moment she realized how precious their love truly was. And in the quiet spaces of their lives, when the cameras are off and the lights dim, she still reaches for his hand, just to feel that heartbeat, steady and strong, and whisper a silent prayer of gratitude for every day they still have together. Even now, months later, Kelly admits that some nights she still lies awake, listening to the rhythm of Mark's breathing beside her, steady, reassuring, fragile. She's learned to see every sunrise as a blessing, every laugh as a victory. Their home feels different now, quieter, more intentional, filled with gratitude instead of rush. Mark often tells friends that Kelly saved his life, but she insists it was love that did. Together, they turned fear into strength and heartbreak into hope. A living reminder that even after the darkest news, love can still light the way forward. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our Kelly and Mark report for all updates.